you ever walked away from a conversation feeling entirely drained, yet completely unable to pinpoint why? You didn't lose an argument. Nobody insulted you. There was no grand conflict. Yet you left the interaction feeling slightly hollowed out, as if your center of gravity had been quietly surrendered to the person you were speaking with. We tend to believe that power is lost in sweeping defeats, in public humiliations or massive failures. But the psychological reality is far more insidious. We bleed our inner weight, our personal authority, through microscopic, everyday leaks. These leaks are not dramatic. They are the subtle, automatic habits we perform to maintain social harmony, to appear agreeable, and to dodge the terrifying vulnerability of standing alone. We mistake these behaviors for politeness or emotional intelligence. In truth, they are subtle betrayals of the self. This is not a guide to dominating others. True authority has nothing to do with making people bend to your will. It is about something far more difficult, refusing to be a slave to your own compulsions. It is the quiet, immovable authorship of your own mind. To understand why we sabotage our own stability, we must look at the ancient Stoic concept of Autarkeia, often translated as self-sufficiency. In modern psychology, we recognize that human beings are deeply social creatures. Our nervous systems are wired to scan for approval because, in our ancient past, exile from the tribe meant death. We subconsciously believe that if we can manage how others perceive us, we can guarantee our safety. But Stoicism asks a piercing question: what is the cost of managing that perception? When you orient your life around the reactions of others, you unknowingly place the keys to your emotional citadel into the hands of strangers. You become a psychological tenant in your own life, constantly paying rent in the form of validation-seeking behaviors. Marcus Aurelius noted the supreme irony of this condition. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. To reclaim your internal authority, you must stop viewing authority as a social hierarchy. It is an internal state of non-resistance. It is the ability to witness the world's judgment without adjusting your posture. To achieve this, we must dismantle the quiet habits that strip us of our autonomy. The first silent hemorrhage of authority is the compulsion to over-explain. When you make a choice, whether it is declining an invitation, setting a boundary, or altering your career path, how often do you offer a sprawling syllabus of your reasoning? We offer excuses, context, and justifications, hoping the other person will validate our decision. Psychologically, over-explaining is an act of submission. It is an unconscious projection of guilt. When you over-explain, you are transforming a simple conversation into a courtroom, voluntarily placing yourself on the witness stand and making the other person the judge. You're silently asking, "Do my reasons satisfy you? Am I permitted to act this way?" The Stoic mind operates differently. A decision rooted in your own rational judgment requires no external defense. The alternative is not arrogance or hostility. It is simply comfortable silence. "No, thank you. I won't be able to attend." Period. When you stop over-explaining, you stop treating your autonomy as a crime that requires a defense attorney. Consider how often the phrase, "I'm sorry," falls from your lips not as an admission of wrongdoing, but as a conversational filler. We apologize for taking a moment to speak, for asking a necessary question, for walking past someone in a hallway, or simply for taking up space. This is the apologetic shadow, the habit of treating your very existence as an imposition on the world. This behavior stems from a deep-seated fear of friction. We shrink ourselves, hoping that by making ourselves small, we will not become a target for displeasure. But when you preemptively apologize for your presence, you signal to your own subconscious that you do not belong there. True composure requires you to occupy your space with neutrality. You are a piece of the universal logos. You are meant to be exactly where you are. If you make a genuine error, apologize with sincerity and correct it. but never apologize for the basic mechanics of existing. Stand in your space without asking the room to pardon your gravity. There is perhaps no faster way to destroy your internal authority than instant reactivity. Someone offers a slight critique, makes a passive-aggressive comment, or cuts you off in traffic. Instantly, your heart rate spikes, your face flushes, and you snap back. You feel in that moment that you are defending your honor. In reality, you have just proved that you are a machine. You are a puppet, and the provocateur has merely pulled a string to watch you dance. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus was ruthlessly clear on this. If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. When you react impulsively, you grant an outsider total jurisdiction over your nervous system. You declare that your emotional state is dictated by the lowest denominator in the room. The quiet power of the Stoic lies in the pause. It is the cultivation of a gap between stimulus and response. When insulted, the strongest reaction is often a slow, unblinking gaze. It is the realization that another person's poor character does not require your immediate participation. Before making a significant life decision, do you find yourself polling everyone around you? Do you ask 5 different people what they would do in your situation? We tell ourselves we are gathering data, but if we are brutally honest, we are often outsourcing our judgment. We seek external consensus because we are terrified of bearing the full weight of a wrong decision. If we take a poll and things go disastrously, the blame is diluted. We had accomplices. This habit creates a deep psychological self-distrust. Every time you ask for the crowd's permission to act, you send a message to your subconscious that you are fundamentally incapable of steering your own ship. To reclaim your authority, you must be willing to endure the terrifying solitude of your own judgment. You must be willing to make a choice, stand behind it and say, if this fails, it fails on my watch. Authority is not the guarantee of success, it is the acceptance of total responsibility. The final, and perhaps most pervasive habit, is the habit of over-accommodation, the molding of one's personality to avoid disrupting the room. It is laughing at a joke you find tasteless. It is nodding along to an opinion you fundamentally disagree with. It is muting your own voice to keep the waters placid. We build an architecture of false peace, terrified that if we show our true, unvarnished edges, we will face social exile. But what exactly are you preserving? A connection based on a fabricated version of yourself is no connection at all. It is a performance, and performances are exhausting. This brings us to a harsh Stoic truth, one that must be accepted without delusion. When you stop accommodating, when you start acting from a place of quiet, internal alignment, there will be friction. You will not suddenly command a room of admirers. In fact, people who benefited from your malleability may call you cold. They may call you stubborn. Some people will misunderstand you, and some will walk away. Stoicism does not promise you a kingdom of loyal subjects. It promises you the absolute sovereignty of your own mind. You must be deeply willing to be misunderstood if you ever wish to be free. We spend so much of our lives waiting for an external event to officially grant us the authority we crave. We wait for a promotion, a relationship, a certain amount of wealth, or the applause of a crowd, believing that then, finally, we will feel solid. But authority is not handed down from the gallery. It is forged in the silence of your own mind when the audience has left. It is the heavy, quiet realization that no one is coming to validate you, no one is coming to save you, and no one is coming to live your life for you. Imagine a stone fortress built into the side of a cliff. It does not ask the storm for permission to stand. It does not apologize to the wind for taking up space. It does not adjust its walls when the rain beats against it. It simply remains. Look closely at your daily interactions. Look at the words you use, the apologies you offer, the reactions you cannot seem to control. Whose permission are you still waiting for to simply exist?